Whilst version 3.0 of Thrawn's Revenge and 1.0 version of Fall of the Republic is imminent, today's video is actually covering a secret new update Corey and the team have pushed for Fall of the Republic. It's a bunch of quality of life changes to Skirmish Mode. These changes will come to Thrawn's Revenge later down the line also. This update gives a lot of healthy gameplay tweaks to the game mode, whilst also adding a lot more that fundamentally changes the pacing, reallocates risk that comes with certain moves and playstyles, as well as toned down methods of play that either stagnated the 1v1 game modes or just pulled attention away from other potential playstyles. So in today's video, I sat down with Thrawn's Revenge creator and very frequent EcksToo member CoreyLoses to discuss the changes and the reasonings behind them. But for all of those who are in a rush, I'll break down exactly what's been added, removed or changed. After that, we'll move into the gameplay. So here goes. Asteroids now have shields and higher health, requiring far more bombers or frigates to come in and destroy the asteroid, as well as have a chance of leaving and surviving. However, asteroids in specific nebulas will have their shields disabled. A reduction in ship prices across the board, as well as new additions of ships to both the Galactic Republic and Confederacy factions that was seen in Galactic Conquest. Asteroids earn less income per asteroid, but can now be leveled up to increased supplies level 5, which is locked behind each tech level now, meaning to achieve increased supplies level 5, it requires tech level 5 also. These increased supplies upgrades are also much more expensive. Space stations earn a lot more income in general, meaning fast income at the very early game, and if all your asteroids are lost, it's no longer impossible to recapture one when low on income. Anti-fighter ships now join the left side blue build list, allowing you to build ships like the Diamond Cruiser or fighters like the Arc 170 whilst in the middle of a tech upgrade. Tech upgrades take a much longer amount of time to complete now. This increases the risks of any time a user wants to have a tech upgrade for their space station, but the rewards that come with it are greater. An additional increased supplies asteroid level increase being one of them. So that's all the immediate changes for now. There is probably a lot more that I haven't covered here, so Corey and I will be going into detail on these changes. But before I do, my question of the day is, do you play a lot of Skirmish in Empire at War? For me, it is literally my main game mode. I play it far more than Galactic Conquest game modes, so changes like these are absolutely welcome. And with Lone Ranger, a developer for Thrawn's Revenge and Fall of the Republic, coming in to specifically work on Skirmish, that's something I'm really excited to hear about. But what about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Also guys, we are mere days away from locking in our Patreon rewards for October. So if you want goodies like the newsletter, extra bonus videos, Patreon gaming nights with me, personalized EcksToo artwork or merch designs that will never be on the EcksToo merch line, be sure to become a Patreon today. You do not get charged on sign up, only on the 1st of every month. So when the 1st of October comes around, you'll have to wait until next month. So do not delay. Now, with that out of the way, let's go on with the video.
Okay, so Charlie, we're here with the new build of Fall of the Republic that everyone at home can be playing themselves right now, but we're going to explain some of what went on with these changes, where you'll see that your dedicated anti-fighter ships and your fighters all build in the, I guess, the blue upgrade. Usually it's the upgrade menu, but now it's just blue.
Yeah. And that's the that's in Thrawn's Revenge as well, isn't it? Right?
That is coming to Thrawn's Revenge. We started implementing it. It's one of the reasons that the CIS and Republic were unbalanced against each other previously, because it was something that we'd started doing, and I think the CIS had it, but the Republic didn't. So now it's properly implemented. But these are a bunch of changes that Lone Ranger has been working on for a while, along with some other people on the team. But Skirmish should feel a lot better now, and we'll see if I just win. But don't tech up right away, because it takes a lot more of an investment to tech up now. And once you've finished building a mine, you'll see that the mines have shields, so they're a bit harder to raid with like a single squadron of fighters that just takes it down. Yeah,
and I also notice the middle one doesn't have shields because it's in the nebula.
It's in the nebula, yeah,
which I think is a good gameplay tweak.
It works because you've got the mines on the side give you a bit less overall map control, but the same amount of money, and there's a bit higher risk for just rushing the middle compared to other areas.
Yeah. I always place a fighter there, prepping for a bombing run, but with the shielding on on asteroids, I think it's going to cost a lot more to.
Yeah, you have to be a bit more dedicated to assaults on mines now.
Yeah.
Because of that, and because like at a certain skill level, it got to a point where like it was just raiding mines, and it was impossible to build up any economy, and there was no real risk to raiding a mine. You just go in, send in a ship, you'd kill the thing immediately. And like, yeah, great, that is a good thing to do, but it didn't require any effort or investment to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be they never had the reinforcement prevention radius, which they now do, or which they've had for a while, but that wasn't quite enough to get all the effects we were going for there.
Mm-hmm.
But now it works out a little bit better. And there's actually 5 tiers of upgrades to the income now, and they're tech gated. So there is an incentive to kind of tech up a bit more, but there's the risk along with it. Although being able to build some dedicated anti-fighter and some fighters and bombers while you're teching up does mean that even if it's harder to get more map control, you do have a way to kind of try to hold on to what you have if there's a dedicated assault going on.
Oh wow, yeah, that takes way more. Is it? Has it got more shields than Hull? The asteroids?
They're pretty. I don't know what the exact numbers are on it, but it's they're pretty beefy now.
Yeah.
But even with one hard cell and a couple of bombers, you're still getting some decent damage in if you get that captor in, or auxilia, I think.
That is definitely not a drive-by bombing run at all. Like that's which I think works because it was very frustrating to play against. And,
so now Skirmish is kind of caught up with those galactic changes that we'd made already.
Yeah. And I think one thing that you mentioned a bit earlier, to come back, I think the inclusion of moving anti-fighters to the second bar is definitely going to force players to be a bit more careful with how many fighters they're going to keep spamming. So that's definitely a really good change. I'm looking forward to how that goes down.
We have right now an issue is just how spammable they can be, like Gozantes especially, not for power, just for lag. So we'll probably implement some kind of limits on the top end for those kind of things. But Fall of the Republic is also getting a pop cap change down from 300 to 200. So that's not coming to TR. That's just Fall of the Republic.
I've been teching up and I have really felt the punishment of it.
You've got to time it properly, but at least you can like still build some stuff to challenge in areas. Like you need to make sure you're in a good position on the map.
The other question I had was Artisans. Are Artisans more on level with Thrawn's Revenge versions now?
The stats for those have always been the same.
Oh, have they always been the same? It's just available ships on that first tech level, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like an Arca-10s in TR is the exact same as an Arca-10s in Fall of the Republic. Unless I'm pretty sure, like there might be different variants. I don't think they are. No. But like in context, like Clone Wars ships are going to be weaker, so proportionally they're better. But this skirmish patch didn't have any balancing changes to any ships. It was just about the availability, costs, that kind of thing. So it's more about the skirmish system specifically rather than the ships. There is something that there's a new ship the CIS are getting in 1.0 called the Munifex, which was actually really helpful for them in skirmish, which obviously is not in 0.6. So that's why you'll notice you have access to the Marauder, which kind of fills that same role and is actually pretty damn useful in early game skirmish.
Right, and also I'm seeing a lot of new ships as well for the Confederacy.
There's the Marauder, but I don't think there's
Erection class Dreadnought in the tech level 3.
The Erection class Dreadnought?
No, sorry, the Recusant.
Oh, the Recusant, yeah.
Recusant.
Sorry. Some of those ships that were only in GC previously, I believe, have been kind of slotted in appropriate places. Right.
Oh, is that not intentional? Is it?
No, they are. It is. It's just I wasn't sure what you're talking about for the.
Oh, gotcha.
Because they were in the mod before. It's just as someone who only plays skirmish, you'd have less experience with those being around.
Oh, whoa! And there's an increased supplies level 3. I did not know that.
Yeah, it goes up to level 5 now.
Really? Huh.
So
okay.
it's smoothed out a little. The income curves are smoothed out a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. So, I welcome the increased supplies. So it doesn't feel like just a necessary early game thing that you do in the first 2 minutes and it's done.
Right.
And then losing your asteroids obviously would be a much bigger risk by losing all of them now, which makes sense for the shields on the asteroids. Okay. If I'm getting anything wrong here, just let me know.
Nope, that all makes sense.
Yeah, that's definitely a really interesting change. Are these changes coming to Thrawn's Revenge 3.0 as well?
Yeah, similar changes are. So all the systematic changes would be the same, but ship availability will obviously vary by faction. And again, it'll take a little bit longer to get them sorted out with so many factions. So it's very likely that we'd have a focus on the Empire and New Republic first, and then on like the Empire of the Hand, CSA after that. Because when you're only balancing 2 factions against each other in themselves, that's a lot easier than when you have like 8 to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when there's more unique factions coming, that'll be like the Hapens or Chiss or whatever. Because at least a lot of them are like Imperial right now, so they kind of match up against each other. But so recusants and recusant dreadnoughts are heavy hitters, but they're not especially tanky.
Yeah, I had them in the back there, but you convinced me to bring them up. So that one's taken a bit of a beating for it. I've always assumed that recusants were like more of a sniper, long range.
Yeah,
and then have something a bit more bulky in the front line.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird because like last time I played Fall of the Republic, my meta would be to pick Galactic Republic and super spam artisans until I got a chance to tech up.
Right.
So, but when I played a lot more of Thrawn's Revenge, I learned a lot. Like on another level of learning of like specific ships, positioning, fighter control, etc., etc. So I have to take that understanding and bring it over to Fall of the Republic, as well as understand the new changes that have come in as well. So I feel like I've got a lot to process and actually get good at, essentially. So with X saying, "Oh, I'm not good at skirmish, I'll get smashed," now's probably a perfect time to come back in because I'm probably at the same level as him at this point.
Yeah, like a lot of the same principles for like ship tactics are going to be there. It's just the cost benefit of each kind of thing, and like some of the stuff that made Architects as good as they were in context, other than just like being good statted ships with a low price, is like they were good at just taking out a mine on their own, because you could just go destroy a mine and then it kind of does everything. But now you need more of that investment if you want to do that with them, or with anything else. And like the Munifax is kind of the CIS's answer to the Architens, which is why they have the Marauder right now, which is because it's kind of in the same vein.
Yeah, I've not really used enough of the Marauder cruiser. That's one thing I've ended up neglecting, and ended up focusing a lot on hard cell spam, just purely because of the fighter it spawns alongside it. So
yeah, Marauders do that as well. Like the Marauders weren't available to the CIS before.
Okay.
They're kind of similar to the hard cell in some ways, but
bit more
turbo laser rather than physical munitions, which is what the hard cell is for. But I'll host up another one.
Now, one faction I love to play on this faction. One faction I like to play on this map. Sorry, is the Confederate. No, the Pentastar alignment. purely because their fighters can just light speed across the map. Well, the interceptors, that is. So you're able to outbeat a lot of your opponents in terms of speed. I noticed you used a lot of Pelter class as well, so I'm gonna try and indulge myself in a few of those in my fleet.
Yeah, for the early game, like little frigate versus little frigate fights, because of their healing, they can kind of do a good job of influencing that, and you also get to hear X voice acting. So, like, how can you go wrong?
Exactly, it's amazing. Who was the person that teared up listening to his voice acting?
Eck.
Oh, is it him himself?
Yeah, obviously.
So it feels like a lot of the changes also kind of like slows down the rushed early game, where people like it's either you execute your early game correctly or you lose. So
yeah, like the early game is still, if you do it correctly, you're still going to have a pretty big advantage, obviously. But it's not like, instead of being 95% of the game, it's some smaller number that isn't that number.
Yeah.
But still pretty major and can still set you up for winning or losing. But like a good player can still find opportunities to kind of claw it back. Because usually if you do take those mines out, like in the past, you were denying some area, but you weren't really able to hold them. Whereas now you're committing enough force, usually if you're taking them out effectively, that you are able to get some sort of foothold.
The Void only has one increased supplies.
It's tech level based.
What? Really?
Yeah, so it unlocks more as you tech up.
That is such a good change.
So if you try to like rush level 1 stuff, which used to be a lot more viable, and you could just crush with that, if someone does manage to tech up, they are going to be over the long term getting into a better position economically. Yes. Because it is a big investment to get to those levels.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good change. Oh man, that is gonna mean so much different play styles. Like everything has actually changed. That's a tech level 2. Oh, okay, yeah, that's. I keep getting scared. Wait, you on tech level 3?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the Omni class. Omni is tech 2. That would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the CIS doesn't have access to a level 1 healer like the Pelta is.
Yeah.
So they, unless you like just go for straight out numbering, the CIS isn't going to be, isn't going to have that advantage in the early fights.
I've never really utilized healers as much. I've always gone damage or shield regen. So I'm gonna have to really sit down and learn more about healers and
they're also something that's going to get better in the future, because right now the healing range makes them kind of difficult to utilize because of like differences in height, because it makes a sphere around units rather than being like a cylinder within the range, which would be much better. So we're just going to make the basic range higher, and then they're more of a kind of strategic asset rather than like tactical positioning being quite as important for them.
Are you able to? Are you going to add like an indication of what ships are being healed in that radius? Because I know you hear the sound.
They flash.
Okay, I need to keep my.
They
eye
are like
out
a blue
for that.
flash.
I'm now a lot more cautious of which asteroid I use to upgrade. Because I'm assuming it's still in this patch as well. If the asteroid that you're upgrading gets destroyed, you lose progress on that thing.
Yeah, because the upgrade is still coming from the object.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
There are 2 missing icons in the mod right now, because this was adapted from the dev build, which had certain other things done. But there's a fighter class you can get from the neutral dock for the CIS called the Genevex, which is missing an icon. And there's also a hardpoint on the Munificent Heroes, the Amass Driver, that doesn't have an icon, but that'll all be fixed with the 1.0 release when it comes out.
Let's see. Go, my pretties. Wow, man. All those anti-fighters really just... Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm just watching all the health melt. Oosh. Everything... There is a lot of changes here, so I am definitely... Which is good changes. I like that the pacing is slowed down a little bit to make way for recoveries on mistakes. And so on and so forth, without handicapping players that are likely to execute all of their early and mid game tasks efficiently.
Yeah, it's changing a bit of the skills that are valued rather than just like how quickly can you get to the mind. It's how well can you establish control of them. Is kind of what it shifted towards, and in our opinion, that's a bit more fun of a skill to kind of test than just how efficiently did you get that one fighter to the other mine, and then that kind of determines the game. And then maybe someone spams a few squads that go and kill a mine, and then the game just slows down and no one has any money or any fun for a while. So at least there's more going on there.
I have literally had a game once where I missed out, like I was delayed on capturing my bottom asteroid in Traverse Madness, and then I placed down my Nebulon B at the middle, not realize, and then suddenly having vision on a ship that was very close, and I was not able to get any value out of that Nebulon B, and then I just essentially lost the entire game from those two moves. So it's nice to know that in this update that won't be the case.
Yeah.
Well, I've just I've lost all my asteroids, but I've noticed that I'm still earning quite a bit of cash now.
There is a decent income stream from your station, like enough to kind of get by.
I remember you mentioning
on a map that's this fucking resource packed. It's gonna fucking snowball pretty heavily.
It's I remember you wanting to add that at some point, so it's really nice to see it coming in. It's a really good change.
Yeah, enough to get like a ship or two on the map to challenge for an asteroid reasonably well, to make sure you have, like, if you play it right, some kind of pathway back into the game.
At least in like a sense of like, if you're at the part of the map where part of the game where the enemy doesn't have full map control over every single asteroid, there could be an opportunity for a fight back at their weakest defended place.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And then maybe kind of edge your way back in, because like you're getting a decent assault off on the middle right now. Like I pretty much won already, but in a map that wasn't so like heavily asteroided, then that could turn into something. I think I'm not gonna have enough time to do the Traverse Madness map there, but Corey, thank you so much for coming on and I love being invited onto EcksToo. I wish you guys would do it more, but I know you guys don't like me, so. But thank you for watching, everyone, on EcksToo and CoreyLoses. If you want to see Charlie's perspective of all this and you're watching on mine right now, you can head over to EcksToo, where Charlie, Eck, and myself have a bunch of gaming shenanigans and usually get drunk and play Mario Kart. But
thank you very much for joining, and do this again very, very soon when 3.0 and 1.0 comes out.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And I didn't hit record.
Are you serious?
All of that was not recorded. None of it.
I can send you my footage.
No, I'm joking.
To edit down.
I didn't record it.